use a constant or an assumed thing all the time.
In which case then would be flat if is not the case when it's observably and measurably flat.
So there are many physics questions and
I'm asking
stuff
you the opposite. In which case would be flat if it's not in this case, when it's observably and measurably flat?
When is it not flat? I'm sorry. I don't understand the question.
Now, when I go, the Earth is observably and measurably flat. If I see 10 miles, you will tell to me that, listen, Sasha, this is because it's curving, but you don't see, you don't see its peak, And I'm asking you now, how will it look like if it's flat? Because it looks flat. But how will it look like if it is real flat? Because it is not flat because it looks like flat.
That those are a lot of words that are put together and it's in a particular order that said basically
has no sense, is it?
Yeah, those are a lot of words if you put in a particular order having to do with the flat or unflat Earth, but that order of words did not exactly like correlate to any specific statement.
Okay,
but I'm doing
if people using the second and using the triangle for measuring and making elevation angles, what is real practical, and you can use the flat surface for that. Why is so unlogical to be flat surface? It is that the way how triangles works, and that's the way how you have to logically have the easier way how to get the elevation angle. Why is that? Is how to say? It's not logical, but it's more logical. That's what you cannot occur with a triangle if you have the curved base.
Yeah, I mean it is logical
now,
to assume.
but listen, this now you will assume something what we are saying it is.
Hello, I have a question.
Hey, what's up?
Why is the Earth not flat?
Why is it not flat?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question, my friend. It's very loaded.
Good question. That's a good question.
I wouldn't say.
All right, well, I feel like my talking time is over, so
Shurima is never lost.
I no longer have the talking stick. I have to pass it to somebody else. So who wants it?
If you believe that Earth is a globe, you need to say Earth is not flat because it's spherical.
Guilty.
Talking stick has been passed over to a tomato. Tomato, whatever your fucking name is.
I have but one life to give for Ionia.
Jedi.
I must make it
Cranky,
count.
brother. I don't blame you.
It's like trying to explain really simple things to people. I've been doing it for 2 hours and it's just lots of nuh-uh, no, well, don't, Simple
Yeah.
things like the scientific method and fucking triangles. Really simple to understand. I don't know how people have gotten through schooling. It came into somebody making baseless assertions that all satellites point up into the sky. That was just a baseless assertion, just because you can post an image of one pointing vertically straight up or at an angle of 45 degrees. But when challenged with that, my one just points to the horizon. It's nuh-uh. Giggle, giggle, giggle. Radios and stuff like that, talking about how long distance radio signals from London to Australia by Marconi. You've got two instances, one a direct line of sight between London and Australia to send that and receive that signal, or ionospheric bounce. When challenged on ionospheric bounce, I asked the question, how many times would that bounce off the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere? I was just said once. Then I asked for the maths and then giggle, giggle, giggle. Like people think that they know things, and when challenged on the things that they know, in some instances,
Yeah.
which I've noticed, giggle, giggle, giggle. People make claims to things that they don't know about. But when given education, giggle, 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 hand wave away. I want to sleep tonight because I've got to be living on a ball. I have to be living on a ball. Must be living on a ball. Must be living. Shut up. It's ridiculous. This conversation for me has been going on for the last 8 years. One of the main reasons that I'm a flat earther, apart from, as I've described, observation, direct measurement and usage of the surface of the earth, is the ridiculous things people fucking say when defending the ball. I mean, fucking ridiculous. If you've been around in this
I can see
conversation
that.
for long enough, you'll understand that people say stupid shit. They can't defend this idea, but will pull shit out of their fucking arse and claim it to be true, even though they've got no first-hand knowledge about anything of which they speak. Nothing.
Right. No shame, no humility, no modesty in terms of like not knowing something.
Exactly that. And then
I
we'll
don't
just
know it
get,
all.
well, you'll,
Like I'm not afraid to say I don't know, and I want to learn. This is why I come here every day, because I do learn something new every day. It's awesome.
They've never imagined.
the best arguments that globe earthers have is an ad hominem attack. You don't understand. Or you'll just
Yeah.
deny anything.
Oh,
that
you don't
I
know the
do.
story. Like you haven't heard
Yeah,
it for
yeah,
80
yeah.
years. Fucking A.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
respect.
yeah.
Yep.
So one of the main reasons, just to clarify, that people on the flat Earth side will suggest that the Earth is most definitely flat, is because people who defend this can't, and then they'll humiliate themselves and die on a hill for it. Fuck it, die on that hill. We'll just humiliate you and watch you die on your fucking hill. Not a problem. But you won't be able to give us any direct measurement of the surface of the Earth.
So tell us how a sextant works then.
What, an angle measuring device?
Yeah, how's it work?
A right angle triangle.
Okay, keep going.
Good. So elevation angle up to the star. 3
Okay.
points U with the sextant, the star, and the ground position of the star.
Okay,
Awesome. So a right angle triangle.
keep going.
Okay. You
What
won't
do
be
you-
able to
what do
measure
you
an
do-
elevation angle. Sorry,
What
go
do you
on.
do with that right angle triangle?
You measure an elevation angle up to that star, so at a known time of year, you can
Uh-huh.
know your position in accordance to where the stars appear in the night sky and their geographical position. Like I said, at a known time of year, because the stars move, right?
Yeah, and how do you what's the math on that?
Do you want me to go and get it for you, mate? Do you want me to
Yeah,
go and get an
sure.
almanac for you?
There's certain
Do you want me to go
times
and
a
get the almanac?
year where stars appear in certain spots of the sky while you're underneath them and it's been observed over thousands of years. So that's why there's certain stars that you can use to give you hints to where you are.
I get that, but how's the math work? What's the A squared,
Well,
B
shit
squared?
depends on where you are and what star you're using, dude. What do you mean?
Okay, so what do you use as B squared? What's
What?
B? If you're using a right triangle, right? And you're taking the angle and using possibly the sine.
Oh, you're saying what's B? So from
Yeah,
you
yeah.
to the star, right?
Yeah.
So what angle? Because
No,
your horizon,
that would be
correct
C.
me if I'm wrong on this. I'm just a layman, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's a 90-degree right triangle, right? So 90 degrees
Yes.
meaning the horizon, right?
Yes.
So depending on how you're looking at the star is your angle towards the star. Am I right on that?
Yes, I know, but how do you put in the
I just want to make
numbers?
sure I'm right on that before I just blow smoke up
That's
my ass.
that's what you guys say it is. It's not that, but go ahead, because I want to.
It's
You
not
walk through
that?
this. No, because when you walk this, you'll find out for yourself. It can't be,
Okay, why is that?
because in order for that angle, if you're going to take the sine of that angle, or maybe the tangent of that angle, because you think you know the height, or you think you know the hypotenuse. If you're using the hypotenuse, you would take the cosine of it to find your distance from the GP. But in order to do that, you need to know either C, the length of C, which is the distance between you and the star, or the distance from the GP to the star. And you don't know either of those. And since you don't know either of those, you don't have neither B nor C. And so just an angle, you cannot figure out what A is. That's simple math, guys.
Also, don't observers at different points have different altitudes of Polaris based on where they are, right? So like,
No, they have different angles of elevation, but the altitude's the same.
That's what I mean. Not literally altitude. What I mean is the perception of how far the star is above the horizon would be different from someone near the equator than someone near the North Pole.
Okay, so let's say I give you an angle of elevation to something, and I tell you, okay, how far is it to that GP? Can you do the math? You just had the angle of elevation.
I can't. I have not. I don't know how to do this.
I'm not familiar with.
What I'm just saying.
Can.
Okay, what I'm just saying is.
Kill yourself.
Hold on, but what I'm just saying is that because the light from Polaris, because the light from Polaris is falling on the Earth evenly, the round Earth. If you are near the equator, the Polaris is going to have a different altitude than if you were near the North Pole.
Yeah, it'll be 0. If you're on the equator, the angle of elevation will be 0.
Correct.
We know this.
And it'll approach 90 as you get closer to the North Pole. So like,
no, it hits 90.
Why would that?
Wait, I'm getting confused here.
Yes. So why would?
Wait. I want to break down the question because it's an interesting question. So if I'm on the ship and I need to know, you're saying you need to know the distance to the GP, the ground position of the star.
No,
because
not the
because the ground position of the star is a straight line.
That's what you're trying to figure out, the distance, right? Because that would give you your longitude.
No, you get the distance. You get the distance from the timetables.
Okay. How do you get the distance?
No. This is really okay.
I just told you the angle will correspond to something that's in the almanac, and that'll let you know the distance.
This is okay. We don't need to get that in the weeds. All I'm saying is that
an observer.
No, it's not in the weeds. I said that. How do you do this and that when you don't have this or that?
If an observer is near the equator.
Hold on, I want to hear Elijah elaborate on that because I'm curious. So the different timetables in the almanac,
they're going to correspond to the angle that you're taking to the star.
Okay, fine. That's fine. But
I just want to hear an example from Elijah, please. Just chill for a second. I honestly want to hear it, just so I can.
An example of what?
Of using timetable. I'm saying you said certain timetables, depending on like if you have a GP
having a sky almanac. Of the coordinates of the stars, like when you know what time it is and you look at the angle of a known star in that book,
right?
Like there will be something that coordinates with. Hold on, guys. The angle that you're reading is going to coordinate with the time in there. And it's going to tell you what distance you are from that particular star. So it's more trilateration than it is It's not triangulation. It's trilateration, really.
Okay.
So if an observer,
in respect to the North
if
Star,
an observer,
and then a different star, right? Or if you have two different stars, like you would need 2 points in the sky first, kind of thing.
What? 2
Like
points
you
in the
need
sky to do what?
To first determine, like where you are. Like if the North Star is the 0 point, right? Because that's the North Star. Anything in relation to the North. Let's just say I can see the North Star, right? Then I would take the North Star, and then the GP. I would see another star in the sky in relation to the North Star, and depending on my angle of how I hit that, that would be the triangulation kind of thing.
No, you don't use other stars, as far as I know. I mean, listen, I'm not a.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I don't
I'm
know.
not a maritime.
Yeah, you do. You got to use at least 2 stars to get a fix for your position. That's what you're trying to get. You're trying to figure out where you are.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And that's your right angle triangle in a sense.
No, it's not.
Right angle. I still don't know where the right angle triangle is coming from. I'm wondering, like, what formula are you guys using?
They made one up.
Okay, so you're in a boat. You're trying to find north.
Right.
You're near the equator. You break out the sextant. You look up at the North Star. The North Star will be like 10 degrees above the perceived horizon. A different guy in a boat up near Greenland is also looking for his North Star will appear to be much higher because of the curvature of the Earth. Because
yes, correct.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense, and that also explains
that
why,
make sense?
if you go across the equator to the southern hemisphere,
It's not the curvature of the Earth that you're assuming the curvature of the Earth. It's if you're closer to the North Star, it's going to be higher up in the sky in your perspective and your your view.
Yeah, this perspective thing that doesn't make any sense, and I've ran into this before. Your understanding of perspective does not work like anything that I've ever.
The curvature that you don't observe doesn't make any sense because it's against your own observation. So by definition, the curve is nonsense. So that doesn't make any sense when you claim it as.
What?
Okay.
By definition, nonsense.
Means. There's no need for.
Okay, so you observing a horizontal plane. You observing using your senses, your vision, one of your senses, and you claiming the opposite of that. By definition, nonsense.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy, right? You're saying it makes sense that it's curving, but even though I don't see any curvature, that makes sense. It's the opposite of what you're observing. Going against your sense. By definition, nonsense.
Okay.
Listen, when
GPS
the explanation out, I want to be able to actually use what's quote unquote flat Earth technology when all the shit goes out, right? We're gonna have to use our own senses and our own observations. We'll be reverted to a flat Earth cosmology, whether we like it or not. If all the internet goes out, if all our technology just stops working, it's like I want to go back to the basics, the fundamentals, how we've navigated, over the years. That's what I want to learn. I want to learn about that shit. Sorry.
Okay.
Anything that relies on
a sextant would work, like just finding north would work on a flat Earth or a round Earth, but the sextant wouldn't read out the same thing. If the light was falling
round
evenly,
and flat are not mutually exclusive.
If the light was falling evenly,
round and flat are not mutually exclusive. What you're saying is gonna work on a flat or on a round. That doesn't make any sense.
No, but you wouldn't perceive what we know we perceive with sextants now if it was just a flat plane. If the light from a star was falling on a flat plane, then the sextant measurements from all over the flat plane would all bear out the same altitude.
That's nonsense.
Why is that nonsense?
plane, you saying it doesn't work in a horizontal plane when you actually it's the actual position that you're standing to be able to create the first angle between the two lines, the horizontal.
Yeah, but okay. So do you understand what I'm saying? So imagine a flat plane and light from a star is falling evenly on the plane. Observers from all over the different parts of the plane, the flat Earth, point their sextants up at the North Star, and they measure the altitude from the horizon. They would all measure the exact same altitude of the star if it was flat.
On different positions? No.
Yes.
Bro, if I'm standing if I'm standing in a room and the light is 90 degrees above my head, that's one angle, 90 degrees. If someone else is 1 kilometer from me, or let's say 200 feet from me, it's not gonna be 90 degrees from that person.
The altitude of the light source from
The angle,
horizon.
you said the angle of the light. If it's 90 degrees from me,
No,
and someone
not the
from me, it's not gonna be 90 degrees from him.
The altitude, no, the altitude, not the angle.
Dawn is the future.
What do you mean altitude?
The
Because
distance
you're
between
in
the
celestial
horizon.
navigation. In celestial navigation, the altitude, it's an altitude angle. So I don't get what you mean by that. The distance between the horizon and the stars is an apparent altitude angle. It's not like an actual height, though.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know
like
it's not an actual. No. I know it's not. Hold on. I know it's not actually altitude. It's
Okay.
it's perception to a star. The altitude
Okay.
is just the measured distance between the perceived horizon and the star.
Yeah, the angular distance, not the real distance. Yeah.
Right. So why would someone at the equator have a 10-degree perception to the North Star, but someone near the North Pole have a 90-degree perception towards the North Star?
Because they're further. Because they're further.
The ground position is different, bro. Obviously.
Right. No, and I'm picturing it in my mind right now. It's if I'm in the boat, right? Any other boat in my vicinity, right? That's gonna be a flat angle. It's gonna be flat. It's a straight line. That's my first angle, right? So instead of it being another boat, it's the GP of the star at that said time of year, depending on where your location is, right? So using a sky almanac, got it. And then in relation to where that star is, and for example, the North Star, that's right. That's 3 of them right there. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. I get it. I mean, that's pretty simple.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You're triangulating where you are on the Earth, right? Celestial navigation.
I'm not even talking about finding where you are. I'm just talking about
that's
like
the point.
why
that's the
this.
point of celestial
I understand.
navigation.
Yes, I understand, but I'm not even going that deep. Is all I'm saying. What I'm saying is the
Okay.
the difference is perceived by observers on the Earth. Like for instance, if a star is casting light evenly on a flat plane,
You're thinking away from the practicality of the use of the celestial navigation, because one user on a certain position on the GP, right, the ground position, they're going to be utilizing these angles to determine their position, depending on the angles and using the charts, right, measuring those angles, and then you're adding multiple observers of the stars. You're adding multiple of them in different positions all around the world. Nobody does this. Nobody's going to use this practically.
Wait,
you're
what?
saying.
What are you talking about?
No one is gonna do.
This is used
Who's doing that?
practically. This is used practically.
Because you're saying if the guy if the guy in the above the equator is in this position and is observing the at this angle, or you said altitude, which is the angle actually, and then the other guy below past the equator to the other side is observing the same star, they're gonna see different angles of the stars. They are gonna observe different angles.
Hold on, but the equator in a flat Earth model is just a radius of a flat plane, a radius projected on top
It's
of
a
a flat
circle.
plane.
It's a circle.
Right. Fine, but what I'm saying is, if you were
You're talking about observers from different
from the star,
positions
light
and
from
how the
the
angles are gonna be different in reference to them. Yeah, that's
okay, light from the stars falling on a flat plane. Someone in a boat in Australia looks up to where the light is coming down and is unable to see the star. But someone near Greenland, say, can look up and see the star.
you're gonna use different stars to
fall off. Yes, I know, but
Why,
the
why,
same sky should
why
be the
aren't
same
you?
sky
Why
should
aren't
be the
you
same
accepting?
sky should be
Why
present
aren't
over
you
the
accept- you're
entire
missing
flat plane of the
something.
Earth. If what you're saying is true.
You're missing something simple. No,
Great.
you can't
What am I
see
missing?
the entire. Just why would you think you can see the entire sky if you can't see the entire ground? Like, but anyway,
Because
moving beyond that,
because light from the sky.
moving beyond
Wait, can I
thinking,
answer? Can I
moving
answer you?
beyond thinking that that's ridiculous
Wait, why are we moving beyond it? I can answer that.
because it doesn't matter really.
Well, then why'd you ask it?
Because
The
it's
reason you can
rhetorical.
see
We
the
already
reason
know.
you can see the stars.
We already know that you can't see the entire
The reason you can see the entire night sky and not the
night
entire
sky
Earth is
with
because
stars.
you're very close
Can't
to the
see the
entire
entire
Earth,
Bro,
and
again,
you're very far away from
again,
those
you're not
stars.
trying to have a dialogue that is like, real right now. Like, because you keep skirting past basically all we're saying is, man, when you move, your angle to the star changes. That's all we're saying.
That's fine. But
okay, so
you
if
have
you're moving along a longitude
predicament.
line, if you're moving along a longitude line, like say, and you're looking at the North Star, the further toward the south you go, the lower it's going to appear in the sky. The angular relationship between you, the plane that you're on, and the distance to the GP of that body.
Yeah.
But it would never. But it would never. It would never
you're
dip.
going.
It would never dip below the horizon as it does when you sail across the equator.
Well,
Because
you're not.
you're on a.
You don't know
You're
that
on
it's
a.
dipping
You're on
below
a
the horizon.
flat.
You don't know that it's dipping below the horizon. Once it gets to the horizon, which is funny enough that you know what the horizon is. That is the point at which you can't angularly resolve anything beyond. That would include a star if the angle is less than 0.05 degrees or 0.5 degrees, whatever it is, for the human eye.
Fine. That's fine. But we're assuming a flat Earth model in which light from the stars strikes the
assuming a flatter model and the distances to the stars that are normally.
What does a model have? What does a model have to do with what I just told you? The star is at an angle that is below the minimum, which you can tell the difference between the horizon and the star.
Can I just say? Okay.
You're saying, well, you already asked your question. Why is it going below? And all I said was, well, that's begging the question. That's a loaded question because we don't know it's going. We don't know it's going below. But I'm telling you why you don't see it. Because you're saying, why don't we see
in
it?
a flat Earth model. Listen. Even let's say the Earth is flat.
In a flat Earth model, the stars are going
that's fine. That's fine.
Too far to see. Too far to see.
Let's say that the flat Earth model.
It's too far to see. We can talk to you for 2 hours and we'll still be trying to tell you that the further south you go, the lower a star appears. And then eventually you go too far south and you can no longer see the same stars in the sky. We can tell you a million times, but you're just going to keep on trying to ask your question in a million different ways. And we're going to keep giving you the same answer. That's pretty annoying.
Okay. But the way you're describing like light working doesn't comport with reality.
Okay.
How so?
So imagine a flat plane, and above which
let's talk about reality and tell me what I said about light that doesn't comport with reality. Don't think about a model or nothing that isn't real. You're telling me that something that Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to answer you.
There will be peace in the Freljord.
Okay. Moving further away in quotes from light being cast down on a flat plane from the stars would not cause the star to dip below a perceived horizon.
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that
What part are
premise.
you? What part are you confused
I don't
by?
know what you mean by
He's
that. You're saying
constructing a different
you're saying it
reality in his
wouldn't.
mind.
You're saying that it wouldn't
Right.
dip below the horizon. Are you basically saying if the Earth were flat, then we would be able to see all the stars? Because if that's what you're saying, I just addressed that already, which is why I'm saying you're gonna try to find a million different ways to just restructure the same question. But I already answered you because we
You
can't
didn't
see the
answer.
whole sky. We
No,
can't
no,
see
no.
the whole sky from one location.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Right.
make any sense. Your model
What do
doesn't
you mean?
Well,
make it.
just because it
Your
doesn't make any
understanding.
sense
Your
to
understanding of
you
how
doesn't
light
mean that the
works
argument is
doesn't
false.
comport with any
So then what are we
true
talking about
reality.
then? So then there's nothing. Hold on, boys. So then there's nothing to talk about then because we're at an impasse then.
I mean, sure.
Okay, well, thanks. Let's end the conversation there. There's no point in going round and round if
Right.
just baselessly assert what you're talking about and deny what I'm talking about. There's no way to adjudicate the matter, so it's no point in arguing. Like, let's be adults and understand that it'd be foolish to go round and round for another 30 minutes.
Agreed.
Uh-huh. Well then, why shouldn't we just close this whole room then?
Because you don't understand the
Is that
angular
your wish,
resolution.
Master?
You're
Because you don't
assuming
want to
No,
accept
everything.
you can
Well,
close
we're
the.
just.
Hold on. You can close the room.
But I'm not the one tapping out.
No, I'm just saying that you have an invincible ignorance about you.
Yeah, you're
And
constructing a
so
strawman
there's
version
no
of
point.
reality in your mind and saying that doesn't work in reality, even though you're observing reality and doing practical things in reality and then attaching a made up version of, oh, the reality is a globe. And if it was something else, it will look different than the reality that you experience and you navigate.
Why
And
is it the case?
attaching that to people in here, like, but guys, reality will be different if it was this thing in your imagination. Like, come on, bro, that's
What
ridiculous.
is
Yeah.
what is
Basically,
the what is
we're
the what is
immersed,
the
You
bro.
what is
did you
the
prove
what is
did you
the
prove
like
the globe?
how do
Did
you
you prove
think
the
that
globe?
how do you
Did you?
okay
Did,
I don't know what
yeah,
you're doing.
good. Because I want my question. Because you want to close
Okay.
the room. Do you want to close the room? That means that I missed the evidence for the globe.
Well no, I don't want to close the room. Elijah just tapped
But
out.
because you said we can close the room, that means that you have evidence for the globe here.
Well I have an unanswered question.
You have an unanswered question. Your questions are there in reality. You can check it because if is that happening only on curved surface, the curved surface must be there, and that's all.
Okay.
And you will get your point. And all that what you said now will match with your point in reality. That means what we observe cannot work on the flat surface. Great. I
don't
agree with you. Now I agree with you. Now show me where it's curving.
Okay. I just don't
I
understand.
agree with you that cannot work on the flatter surface. Now show me where it's curving.
It would appear to curve if stars dip below the horizon, but from sailing across the equator, and
I
from having a
understand it
totally
cannot
from,
work
hovi-
on
from
it
having a
cannot work
totally
on the
different
flat.
from
Yeah,
having a
let's move
totally different
forward. It
sky
cannot.
in the southern
Yeah,
hemisphere than in the northern.
I agree with you. Let's move forward
Okay.
now. The
Okay.
stars proving that Earth is a globe. Good. Now show me the curvature in reality.
Wait, why doesn't that qualify as showing the curvature in reality?
Because a sphere has the shape. I learned like a young boy. I played the basketball and I had that in my hand. And all spheres, big, small, medium one, enormous, 100. Listen this, 100 times bigger sphere than this one, than Earth, has drop over distance. Even that one. The 1 billion times bigger sphere from Earth has drop over distance also. Every sphere has that. And that's not Einstein, that's not Isaac Newton, that's not gas pressure, that's geometry.
Okay.
That's all.
What's your
I believe you. Stars proofs cannot work. Now provide me
Oh,
curvature and you will get your model and I will leave this server forever.
okay. Stars don't prove anything no matter
No,
what
I
for you?
told
Saying
you
that
I'm agree with
the
you.
curvature, the
Let's move
curvature that you're
forward.
saying that the stars
Oh.
prove, the curvature that you're inferring, the observation that you're doing in reality, prove that you live on a globe. He's telling you, can you show me that curvature that you're inferring from the stars? Where is that curvature? Below your feet. Where is it? He's asking you.
Okay, so earlier, the only thing that you would accept as direct evidence of the curve would be some sort of like light experiment over a great distance. Is that still true?
No, not necessarily.
No.
Being
Wait,
as
then
we're
what is
told, I'll answer
the
it. I'll answer it. So,
okay.
being we're told the Earth is a ball, would you agree that it must have been demonstrated to be true in the first instance?
Meaning dropping over the horizon, elevation drop over the horizon. Is that what you're asking?
No. So that's again, this is what people have been pointing out. If that's your claim, then the surface of the Earth must be curving. Yes.
Yes. Where
Awesome
are we
stuff.
where are we disconnected?
So I'm trying to reconnect with you, mate. So being as we're all told that the Earth is a ball, can you point out to at any point in history who and how demonstrated with drop over distance measurements that the Earth was indeed that spherical body that you're asserting?
Are you
have to
talking
remember
about? Hold on. There was a like in antiquity or whatever, like in history, you would agree that there were experiments. I'm sure you would think that they were wrong that showed that there was a curve to the Earth, right? Like the shadows in ancient Greece and whatever. Was that Archimedes?
Awesome. Aristosthenes.
Aristosthenes, great. So, but you
Yeah,
don't. You don't accept. Right. So you don't accept that. But wait.
Why? Why don't we accept it?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, so okay. So being as this is proof of nothing either way. For example, you can stand underneath a light, move away from that light. You'll notice that when you stood underneath that light, there was no shadow around you. But when you moved away from that light, a shadow increased in front of you. It's kind of the basis for Aristosthenes, who at a certain time of year observed the sun's reflection down a well, but a stick 500 stades away had a shadow on it. Now you can have both of these phenomena on a flat or curved surface, correct?
I mean, I don't think it would be measured as the same. No.
What do you mean measured as the same?
Well, the appearance of shadows would differ on a curved surface versus a flat surface, correct?
Why?
Because of the angle of the object and the light and the shadow cast. The relationship would be different on a curved surface than with a flat plane.
Really? How would you know if you didn't know that the Earth was a ball in the first instance?
Well, I'm not saying that I know that. I'm just saying that suppose you have a round surface, suppose you have a flat surface. The shadows cast on the round surface would be different than the shadows cast on a flat surface.
You kind of can have the same phenomena on both surfaces, which is the point.
Well, wait, that's vague though. Kind of have the same. I mean,
yeah, you
there would be a
have
difference.
the same phenomena. You can. Oh, would there?
Yes, there would be a difference.
Awesome stuff. So within Aristosthenes, can you prove?
No. I wasn't putting that forward as no. I wasn't offering that as proof. What I asked you, this whole story was I asked you guys what you would accept as proof, and what I got was a laser experiment over a large distance. Is that no longer the case?
No, look. I'm trying to approach this from a different angle. We're told that the Earth was a ball. You're told that the Earth is a ball. So this must have been demonstrated and proven to be true in the first instance. So with a direct measurement, right?
Sure, many.
Awesome. So yeah, many. Okay, Aristosthenes isn't one of them because you can have both phenomena on flat and curved surfaces. Aristosthenes assumed that the Earth was a ball, used the math to predict that the shadows would give him a ball, so don't be surprised at the end of his equations he came out of a fucking ball. It's not hard to understand, right? If you use the math associated with a ball. It's the same as me being in my living room, using the same math that Aristophanes used. As I moved away from a local light source that was over my head, I could use those shadows to turn my flat surface into a ball.
Okay, do you agree that by analyzing the shadows falling on a surface, you could tell if that surface was curved? If you, and you knew the relation between the light source, and would you be able to tell if that surface was curved or flat?
Depending on what the light was doing from the light source. So within
Correct.
Aristophanes, what did you presume the light was doing? For
No, no, no.
example, were
Screw
they
Aristotle. Hold on. Screw
fuck
Aristotle.
me.
Screw that guy. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm just talking about, suppose you have a round surface. Suppose you have a flat surface. If you know the relationship between that surface and the light source, you can tell if the surface is round or the surface is flat. Right? You accept that?
Yeah, go on. Just for shits and giggles,
You,
yeah,
do-
go
you
on.
do you do accept that. Great. But that you've not been convinced of any proof regarding light falling on a surface with regards to the Earth. I
What does that
assume
mean? What does
that's
that
pretty
mean?
clear.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You said it a number of times. What does that mean?
Okay, I don't know how to say that. What I'm saying is, any proof
How light falls
such
on
as
the surface. What do you mean?
yeah. So like if you were to imagine you have a basketball or you just have like a cutting board, and you put two posts on either side of both. So you put two posts on either side of a sphere, two posts on either side of a cutting board, and you can see the light source. The shadows cast by the post that you drive into the sphere versus the post that you drive into the flat surface are going to be different. If you were to assume that you could be a first person observer on that surface, you would say, oh, this is a curved surface. Oh, this is a flat surface. You agree that that could be done?
Okay.
Do you agree that that could be done?
If you put, say, obelisks and you have a light source like the sun, you'll be able to measure their angles. Yes, you would. Obviously.
Okay, would you be able to determine if you're on a flat or a curved surface by doing so?
Well, it's an angle. So for sure, when you're measuring the shadow on an obelisk, it most definitely is a plane.
Hold on. Would you just agree that whatever the evidence
Yeah.
is, you would
Well,
be
just
able to
no,
tell?
fundamentally, it's an elevation angle, or it's an angle that's relative to the celestial body, which would still require a horizontal. That's just fundamental.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
That
I'm
makes
only describing what is true.
okay.
That's
I asked
why
you a
sundials work, right?
very simple question. Very simple question. Just that if you have
Okay.
two obelisks on a sphere versus two obelisks on a flat surface, if you were a first person observer on that surface and you understood the light source, you would be able to determine if you were on a flat or a curved plane. Would you not?
Understood the light source? What do you mean understood?
Okay. Like just that
I mean, because
you
I'm just trying not to sneak in any premises like some fucking illegal alien.
illegal alien. Yeah, well, we wouldn't want that. No, I'm just saying there is a light source. The light source is casting on, say, a round surface with two obelisks or a flat surface with two obelisks. If you are a first-person observer on that surface and observed the shadows,
I hear what you're trying to say.
took accurate measurements of the shadows, you would be able to determine
What do you mean
if you're
accurate measurements of the shadows?
where is the ambiguity there? There's no ambiguity.
I mean, because we're talking about angles, right?
Yes, the shadows falling on the surface.
Falling on the surface that's curving, so it's not really an angle, right?
Well, no, it would still be falling on the surface at an angle.
Okay.
Okay, so you do dispute. So just shorthand, you do dispute this fact that you cannot determine the curvature or the flatness of a surface by analyzing like shadows falling on it.
No,
And that's
you would
fine if that's
measure
your
this.
position.
You would measure the surface. That's what you would do.
You would measure the surface.
Sorry,
Okay.
very
Why are
quickly.
we avoiding the? Why are we avoiding my question?
Do
Well,
apologise.
because you just asked if we could do something indirect to measure the
No,
curvature
that's
of the
correct.
Earth or not.
No, it's very correct.
The bottom line is you're trying to figure out if the surface is curved or not, and you're saying, can we do this indirect thing?
No,
That's
it's not
what
a
you're
matter of
doing.
direct or indirect. No, it's not a matter of direct or indirect.
Well, it
Like
kind of is for me.
measuring. Okay, I don't know what that distinction even means. I mean, you are directly measuring a phenomena caused by its physical attributes. So I
Well,
don't know where you're getting me.
we're just talking about angles. Like we know that angles are two straight lines meeting at a vertex. So,
Okay, so do you think that anything can be gleaned from that information?
what, two straight lines meeting at a vertex, needing like, a flat plane of reference?
Okay, it's fine. By the way, it's fine to say no. That would be proof of nothing. That's a valid move in this game. I'm genuinely curious.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you what I'm telling you. Like you're trying to sneak beyond the point that you already require an angle, two straight lines meeting at a vertex.
I'm not. I'm not. There's nothing being sneaked in here. I'm just asking if you
Yeah, it is.
accept that light falls
That's
differently.
already how it's two lines meeting at a vertex. Yes. When we have
I don't
shadows
understand.
cast on the earth, it is a shadow cast on a planar surface. Yes.
Okay, that's fine to think that. Great. All I'm asking is it possible to determine the difference between a flat plane and a curved plane by analyzing shadows in this way?
Well, you're already
Depends.
using it's already a given because of listen,
Oh my god.
you have
This
an
should not be this
angle.
difficult.
It shouldn't be because you already have the angle on a
What are you
planar
talking
surface.
What are you talking about? You already have the
You have
angle.
an angle on a planar surface. That's how
Yeah.
sundials work. Yes, like I heard someone say.
Yes, you do. Okay, so you accept that you can do this.
Well, I just told you it's for the
It's just
fact that
that's so
it's
funny.
already a plane.
Just say yes or no, man. It's not even a
For the fact
gotcha.
that
Like
it's already a plane. You're saying so angles on a curved surface
oh,
or a flat plane.
oh man.
You
I
can't
don't know why
measure angles on a curved surface. It wouldn't be angles.
yes, you can. Yes, you can measure angles on
Angles
on
two
a curved
straight
surface.
lines that meet at a vertice or vertex, like he was saying, right?
Okay, so fine. So
So you
for the
can't have
record,
angles of shadows, right,
great.
on a curved surface.
Okay,
But you
great. So
can
you
have
can't.
angles of shadows on a flat surface,
Okay,
right?
so so what you
you
got?
can have
So what
like
you're saying is,
you can have like shorter shadows and longer shadows. You can't have angles.
okay,
Right.
fine. Listen, this is so beside the point. I'm just asking, do you
That's
agree that it's
you on
possible to
point.
determine just the fact of the matter? Whatever you think the
It's
fact of the
already
matter is,
determined because we have angles, which would cancel the idea that it's a curved surface. That's the point that I'm
I'm
making.
not even. That's fine that you think that. I'm not even
That
Well, you
going.
answers
keep
your
saying it's
question.
fine that you think that, but then you keep asking the same dumbass question.
You keep avoiding my direct question, which is it possible to
No,
do
you
this?
keep avoiding my direct answer, which is, well, I mean, given that we're going to be working with angles from the very jump, that rules out the idea that it's a sphere you're standing on.
Right. I get
I
Wait,
that.
want to say length. Shadow.
no. Okay, listen. Take it out of the context
Yeah,
of what the
I
Earth
agree.
really
Yeah,
is. Just put it
yeah.
into a video game. Okay, so in a video game,
Put it in
you
a
have
video
a
You
you
in
have
a
a you
video
have
game, you're
a
going to
you
have an
have
X,
a you
Y
have a
coordinate
you have
system,
a sphere
right?
in a video game. You have a sphere in
You're
a
going to
video
have
game.
an
You have a
X and Y, aren't you, in the video game?
sure.
Yeah, the
What
exactly
is it?
same shit we're starting with in this reality.
Okay, I don't think you understand what I'm even trying to
I
Yeah,
do.
we
do.
do.
And yeah, yes,
Really?
yes.
Okay, could you
And
okay
Yeah.
okay
You're a
all right,
premise
that's great.
smuggler.
Okay,
You're a premise smuggler.
please a premise moment. Please just steel man what I'm trying to get across, if you would.
I
Well, you're a
agree
premise
with you.
smuggler.
No. In the best possible terms, could you restate my argument, please?
You're a globe wrangler.
Is it
Yeah,
possible
okay.
to determine the shape of an object because of shadows? Can we figure out if a surface is curved or not by the length of those shadows?
Thank
I
you,
will
Jedi.
give you, no problem. I will give you yes. Yeah, we
Thank you.
can.
That was just
But
that easy.
I will say this. Within regards to, say, for example, Aristosthenes, we're going to have an assumption about the path of light. This is why I asked earlier, within Aristosthenes, what did he assume the light was doing? If we have a variable with regards to what the light is doing, then we're going to get some different phenomena, aren't we? So Aristosthenes was presuming that the light path was parallel. The rays of light are parallel. Now, when we've got your example of a basketball and a chopping board, we understand that the light source that you're using, that's going to be divergent light, isn't it?
Well, no, it could still be parallel. I mean, it's
Did it?
totally hypothetical. I was just talking about
Oh,
light falling evenly on, say, a curved plane or a flat plane.
evenly. This is what I'm speaking on.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is with Aristosthenes, right? So the path of light is parallel.
Great.
But we
So
have divergent light. When we observe the light from the sun, it's divergent. If you observe corpuscular rays, for example. But
Right.
yeah, I'll go along with your premise. Yeah, we could, but we would have to understand something about the nature of the light.
Yes, and you guys assume something about the nature of light that is very peculiar to me.
Well,
Which is
being as Aristosthenes assumed the path of light was parallel, and we can observe corpuscular rays which are not parallel and divergent, what the fuck am I assuming?
okay.
Looks like
I'll have to.
Aristotle's assumption was wrong. As simple as that, man. It's very simple. He assumed parallel rays of light. We do not observe that in nature. Why? Because of corpuscular rays. You know, when you see a cloud, right, and you see the sun breaking through those clouds, what do you see? Divergent angles of light, right? So it's not coming down parallel. It's pretty simple to
Isn't that
accept.
caused by perspective?
Yeah, if you're talking about clouds, like that depends on the shape of the cloud, how the light is cast through the cloud.
All right. You can only have one model at the end of this. You can't have your cake and eat it, for example. With regards to Aristosthenes, that's parallel light rays. I would then now reference your light path of light with regards to solar and lunar eclipses. Now, that's not parallel light rays. That's convergent and divergent light rays. So you tell me, what the fuck do you think the light's doing, being as you've got two contradictory models?
Right.
Well, it hits the Earth evenly, but it's scattered by all kinds of things like clouds into different directions.
Yeah, you're not even addressing the situation with regards to solar and lunar eclipses now, are you?
You're gonna have to
You've got two
elaborate on that
different
point.
paths. You've got two models, and your path
Could
of
we try
light
and
is
stay on
different
topic?
in two models. So you can either
Okay,
have the
two
radius of
models.
the Earth, or you can have a 70-mile. You can have the Moon. Which one do you want?
Sorry,
You
you
can't
can
have
have the
both.
what?
You can either have the circumference of the Earth, or you can have your solar and lunar eclipse model. But you can't have both because the light from the sun is doing two different things in both models.
Right.
What two different things? What are you talking about?
One is parallel, one is divergent and convergent, actually, with regards to lunar and solar. You know what your penumbra and umbra and preumbra are, right? What's the path of light from the sun? Is it parallel, or is it convergent and divergent? Being as you have an area of totality with regards to a solar eclipse, where the shadow upon the Earth is anywhere between 30 and 70 miles in radius.
Okay.
So you can't have both.
Why
It's
can't you have both?
either
I don't understand why you can't
because
have
you
both.
can't have parallel light rays and convergent and divergent rays at the same time.
It's either doing one or the other, man. It's very simple. Saying the globe model for explanations of lunar and solar eclipses, right, falls flat because that takes out Aristosthenes' assumption of light coming down parallel. He's saying you
How
can't
does
have
it? How
both.
does it do that? Why does it do that? I don't think that that's true.
Right. So you remember what I said about the area of totality upon the Earth, when the shadow on the Earth, when we're talking about the moon getting in the way of the sun. you'll understand that if the light waves were parallel, then you would have a bigger shadow upon the Earth. But like I pointed out, the area of totality, the shadow on the Earth can anywhere be between 30 and 70 miles in radius. So
Okay.
what? You've got a very, very small moon.
Wait, no. The
Yeah,
totality is
yeah.
just no. The totality is just the darkest part of the shadow. That's still
Can you
plausible
make
with parallel. Hold on, that's still perfectly commensurate with
can you
parallel light rays.
a shadow smaller than the object that is casting it?
But that's not that's just the
Uh,
darkest part of the. Hold on, hold on.
the
The
moon.
shadow is
Sorry,
not. The
how
shadow
big
is
is
not.
the
The
moon?
shadow is not
How big's the moon?
smaller. The
Yeah, it's
shadow is
how
not.
big's the moon? How big's the
Alright,
moon? How big's the area of totality?
I'd have to
How
look it
big's
up.
the shadow
But
with
the
regards
area
to
of
the size?
totality, is not the entire shadow.
That's what
The shadow is
debunks
much
are.
bigger.
Fucking simple shit. Very simple
My
question. You
the
cause a
fact that
shadow smaller
the
than the
fact
object
that
cast.
damn,
The
I,
eclipse, the shadow cast by the moon moving in between the sun and the earth is very big, but the totality you're talking about just happens to be the darkest part.
It's very big.
do you know what he's saying, Jedi?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Like a shadow has the darkest part, and then it also has a lighter part of it, like the Umbra and Penumbra, and that's what they're trying
Yeah.
to say that we view when we're talking about the um when we're talking about the eclipse. But my whole problem with that is like you guys are just supposed to have like two versions on and off. What's all this twilight shit and all these extra like the spectrum that you guys get when you're just supposed to have on and off, light and no light,
What are you
lightness
talking
and
about?
darkness.
Are you asking
It's
why
because the Earth's
So
the
in
curved
this
and it's
light?
case,
still lighting up
so
the
in this
atmosphere
case,
above the
shadows
Earth.
work for real.
It's
But in the
twilight's pretty
Eratosthenes
well
example,
understood.
Yeah,
like
are
but
you
in
confused about?
Eratosthenes example, you kind of just have light rays that are parallel, and so what you would experience is lightness and darkness, and nothing
Okay,
in between.
have you ever I mean, I don't understand the confusion here. Like, if the sun
Well, I'm
passes
saying
below
the same thing Jedi said
if the
about the
sun
diverging
if the
rays
sun
or the
passes
converging rays versus
below
parallel
the
rays.
horizon,
You can't have
it's
it both
still
ways. So
if the
I'm
sun
just saying
passes
the
below
same thing
the
that he said in a
if the
different
sun
way.
okay if the sun passes below the
I mean, this
horizon,
is invincible ignorance. You literally ignored
the
everything that I said, and you were just
if
trying to wait for my voice to be inaudible so that you can continue with the thing that you be damned will let go of, and you'll just say it anyway. You don't really care about what I'm saying. You're gonna still say the thing that you're about to say anyway, regardless of what I said.
so you don't want
Whether
an
it's
answer.
true,
You don't
whether
want me
it's
to
not
answer
true.
you. So
Like
you
a
don't want me to
robot.
answer you.
You're just a robot, bro. You're just a robot.
Okay. So
Very
to be
simple.
clear, you're not interested in any answers that I might have.
Well, you weren't interested in the answer I just gave you, to be fair.
Does he understand
No, I'm
what you're
quite
talking about,
interested.
Elijah? Does he understand about the Selenelian eclipse, or is he just talking about a normal eclipse?
We're just
He's
talking
just
about a
talking
normal
about
eclipse.
the solar eclipse.
So he's
Yeah.
not even listening to what you guys are saying.
No. We're pointing out that within two explanations of the Earth, we have Aristosthenes, parallel light rays. If we were to use that model with regards to the lunar eclipse, then we would have a shadow upon the Earth in comparison to the size of the fucking moon. But within the solar eclipse model, being as we have an area of totality that is way, 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 way smaller than the radius of the moon, we have a different model for the path of light to explain that particular phenomena within the model. This is a contradiction.
Okay, and what was my explanation?
Yeah, there's three different contradictions as well.
Do
There's
you
also
remember,
the
or you're just
Selenelian
not
eclipse where
engaging?
it bends around it. So, what do they want? They want it straight, converging, diverging, and bending.
Okay, Jedi, do you have an answer for me?
Sorry, mate. Could you repeat your question, please?
what was my response to that claim about the size of the shadow in the eclipse?
You said something about that isn't the whole area of the shadow.
Okay, the shadow cast by the moon onto the surface of the Earth is very big. It's bigger than the moon itself in terms of diameter, but the darkest part is smaller than the entire shadow. The darkest part is the darkest part of the shadow. Around the edges, it gets lighter. Like any other shadow, you're like.
I mean, I already I mean, I literally, like, I just explained to him in front of you what you meant by umbra and penumbra. I just, like, see what I'm saying? How I'm listening to you, but you're not listening to me. See how that's working? I literally in front of you just explained that to him, which he didn't really need an explanation for, to be honest.
Well, then he should have said so.
My goodness. Literally asking you to clarify the questioning. Fucking hell, it's been answered 3 times. You have a contradiction in your model.
You have a what? You're someone
Contradict.
I didn't hear that.
So I'll tell you what. You tell me.
They think there's a contradiction in the globe model because when there's an eclipse, the shadow isn't perfect. It's got edges. They think that is converging and diverging light.
That's not the argument.
So you tell me, from the sun, what's the path of the light ray? Is it parallel, divergent, or convergent? What is it?
I don't want to misspeak here, but my understanding is the sun, light is emanating from the sun in all directions equally. So from the perspective of the Earth, would that qualify as parallel?
Well, no. So we're just going to throw Aristosthenes out now then. That's what
Hold
I mean.
on. I never. Hold on. By the way, I never quoted Aristosthenes as evidence to you guys. Did I not? Would you agree that that's not what I did?
That's fine. No,
Okay,
that's
fine.
fine. But what we will do is, being as we've got a story from history, was we will point out the contradictions, so we can throw that piece of evidence out. Then.
Okay, I never. Okay, just to be clear, I never presented that as evidence. So throw it out all you want. That's fine.
It's fine. You don't have to feel attached to it. We know it's not your claim. But when people turn around to us and say, I've got evidence, but you just deny it, which is literally what you fucking said. I asked you why you would deny it. Or, sorry, asked why we would deny it. You said, I don't know. Now we're telling you why we deny that. With your explanation, or sorry, your example about can we determine the shape of an object that's casting shadows on it, your beach ball and your fucking chopping board? Said, yeah, but we'd have to understand something about the path of light, wouldn't we? Now we're bringing up the contradictions within the model again, because both of these models are proof of the fucking model.
Okay,
within
so
the model.
let's assume. Okay, so let's assume. Okay, so let's assume that light emanates from the source in all directions, like we understand the sun to behave. Then, if you had the chopping board and the basketball, you'd be able to determine the shape of the objects, right?
Hypothetically.
Great. So, any experiment done on Earth that either comports or fails to comport with that would give you some answers, give you some first-hand experimental answers, right? Is that true?
Yeah, keep going. Yep.
That is true. Okay. So that means that it's possible. So you would be open to experimental evidence based on shadows cast on the Earth at say like a simultaneous instance.
Possibly.
Okay. Couldn't we just design this experiment and actually just do it? Like
has it been being as the Earth is already a ball?
Sorry, what?
Wait, wait. I'm curious. Can we do what?
Well, Jedi seems to agree that if we assume
just shut up. shut up.
Do you remember when
Forget what
Kosho
he agrees
requested
with.
everyone do an
Forget what he agrees
experiment?
with. This is what you've been trying to get to for an hour. Spit it out. What do you suppose the method is? I would like to hear it.
Wait, why did you
Yes,
just?
what
It can't be triangulation, right? Like using trig with the celestial bodies. Could it?
Okay. I don't know what that interruption is, what the purpose of that is, but let's just say that. So if you accept that all of these things are true,
I'm not accepting
if
shit. I'm
we,
Oh
just
no.
trying to hear what you want
I'm
as a
not talking to,
methodology for
I'm not talking to you.
knowledge inquiry.
I'm not
Well,
talking
I
to you
mean,
at
no,
all.
dude. I mean, you're gonna get muted if you don't address, because I'm not being rude, and I'm just saying.
That's
I
not true.
just
You're
want
under
to
my
hear the.
theory.
I said I want to hear the method, and then you said, "Well, Jedi agreed." I don't care what. Just tell it. Yo, do you have a method? Yes
I
or
was in
no?
the middle of just talking
It's the
through
same
what the
method,
method might
Elijah.
be.
Measuring the length of a shadow.
Yeah.
I'm
So
trying to
we
figure
have.
out.
So if we had if we had two obelisks of the same size, and we put them on two different, vastly different parts of the Earth at the same time and within the same conditions, wouldn't we observe what we might expect to see on the surface of a beach ball rather than a cutting board, or at least, or the inverse? So, but that we could do that like literally tomorrow. I mean, I'm not going to do it tomorrow, but one could just do that tomorrow. Because it sounds like you're in England, right? You probably get sunlight at least 8 times a year.
Brilliant.
Okay. Can't that just be done? Like flat Earth or round Earth? Has that been
And
done?
what?
Have
And
you-
what? And
It's
what
been
be
done
done?
many times.
No, no, but
No,
in flat
no,
Earth
no, no.
circles,
Stop,
I guess is
stop.
what I'm asking.
Can what be done? Because
Do
so
you need?
all you said was
Can
this.
what
All you
be
said
done?
was this. You're in England. I'm in. I don't know where you're from, but I'm in America. Can't you just put a stick in the ground that is perfectly, vertical? And can't I just put a stick in the ground that is perfectly vertical? Okay, what is that supposed to tell us?
Okay,
Stick will be 1 meter height, 2 meter height, 10 meter height, 100 meter height.
sure. Whatever stick you prefer. What I'm just saying is, we would expect
Okay.
certain behaviors on a flat Earth that we wouldn't observe on a round Earth, and you
Well,
guys seem to
no,
accept
I
that,
would
right?
just like to know the method. Your method can't just be.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the method just so we're clear. Okay, so
What is the method?
we both take identical obelisks or posts or whatever kind of structure that just sticks straight up in the air at a simultaneous instance on opposite parts of the Earth, say in the UK and in the United States. We place these obelisks plumb level and true on the surface of the Earth, and we measure the directions of their shadows in relation to the pole and
The
north.
directions of their shadows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why would
So
you do that?
so the relation between the shadow and north, and
I don't know if you can do that.
can't you? Why can't you?
Because if you had like two people, like say forget the obelisk, say that the two obelisks you replace them with two observers and look directly at, a star. You may not be looking in the same location spatially, 3D wise.
But we're not
Which is
using a
why
square.
you which is
We're
why you can't use trigonometry on the celestial bodies.
okay, but I'm not invoking a celestial body.
I know, but you're talking about like shadows and if they, equate to like what would like how would that work with trying to figure out like what in their relation to north? Where's north in relation to you for two different observers? Is it going to
Okay,
be in the
north is a
same
maybe
is it
I'm
going to
maybe I'm
be is it going to be in the same 3D location? Is
yeah
that the
maybe I'm
question we're
confused.
trying to?
Maybe I'm confused about your point of view. I'm assuming that even though you have a flat Earth, the North Pole is a real place that can be physically pointed to. So, the round Earthers have a north, and flat Earthers have a north, right?
Well, we kind of just use a compass, but is it a
Great.
particular?
I'll take a compass. Yeah,
But is it a
let's use a
particular?
compass.
Is it a particular specific? Here is the actual. Here's the actual point that north is. I don't think so. Doesn't it move around and all that?
Okay, well, there's different concept. So there's magnetic north, which does shift, I think, slightly year by year. There's geographic north, which is just the center of all geography. There's, I think there's true north, which is something else. Anyways, listen, if you accept a compass, I'll take a compass. Let's just do magnetic north for that day. That's
We're doing
fine.
a compass. The compass is like it. Like it has the angle of shadows like on a plane.
A compass has the angle of shadows on a plane. Okay.
Yeah,
What's your
I mean not a compass, but like a sundial. Like, well, the compass is pointing to north, but then what?
Uh-huh. Well, so if the surface is
Goes
flat,
across a
we would
plane,
expect
right?
we would expect certain behavior that wouldn't be present if it was round.
I don't get it. Like a
I'm sure you
compass for
don't.
everyone who's no a compass for everyone who's holding it. For them, it's going to point north. Okay, but I mean
Yes. Very good. Nothing
on
gets
the
past you.
compass, yes. But what's your point?
Oh my god. I don't think well, when I designed this experiment earlier, you didn't seem to follow it, so I don't I'm not surprised that you're
Well,
confused
I'm
now.
because you're not saying anything. You said you put two sticks in the ground.
I think
Okay, you
Jedi
measure
knows
you measure
Jedi knows what I'm getting at. Jedi knows what I'm
you
getting at.
measure the direct you figure out the direction to north, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi, you know what I'm talking about, right? Are you on board uh or what?
Dude, Iram, what would that prove? What are you talking about, dude? That's what
I'm trying
Elijah's asking. Like, well,
Well,
what's the
the behavior of shadows on a curved surface would look different than of what we'd expect on a flat surface.
I don't get that. I don't know what you mean. You haven't
I don't
explained.
understand that.
You
Yeah.
haven't.
Okay, well, I mean, you guys didn't accept that. You could tell what's the nature of a surface by looking at the shadows cast by posts, but Jedi did. So Jedi was at least halfway on board, and then I designed this goofy experiment off the top of my head. But you guys were never under the impression that you could determine anything about a surface if you control the light source and the shadows cast upon it. So
Well,
I don't know what
those
to
are
tell you if you don't
already.
have buy-in from that point.
I mean, well, what about the shadows? What about them?
The length.
I
Because I
mean,
know you're not about. I know you're not
Hiram,
about.
just say the lengths.
I know you're not about. Okay, so what do the lengths? What in relation to what? Is it going to
I
be a
think the isn't it
longitude?
the length of the shadow cast compared to the length of the posts?
Okay.
Yeah, great.
So I don't get what your quote unquote experiment or observation
Can
would
you guys
do.
visualize things in your head? Like, I'm not even talking. Let's like take this out of the context of the Earth and just
No. Like, what do you expect to see with shadows? Like,
imagine a
hold,
sphere
hold
and
on. What do
imagine
you
a flat
expect to
plane.
see? Hold on, wait. What do you expect to see the shadows do on a flat surface, and what do you expect to see the shadows do on a curved surface?
The lengths of the shadows on a curved surface would
Uh
be
huh.
different than on a flat surface.
How?
I'd have to. I wonder if I could do this.
How?
Hopefully I
Like,
do this in
how
Blender.
would you determine that?
Do you guys ever fuck around with Blender at all?
We're not talking about Blender or Unity or fucking
Now,
Photoshop or
how do you determine that they're going to? We're already going to experience what we're going to experience outside. Like
right.
that. That's a given. Like you're not doing anything new. But what you're saying is we shall interpret a result opposite of what inevitably will happen as incorrect. And I don't know, construct a model, say a flat earth, and say this is what would happen on a flat earth. This is not what we see in reality.
Yeah, it's not really doing anything. Like, yeah, if you put two sticks in the ground, look at the shadows. One person says, "Hey, this is because of a flat Earth," and the other person says, "This is because of a curved Earth." How do you know who's telling the truth when we both only have one experience, right? Of measuring those. Like, there's only one truth to that experiment, which is what the shadows will do. And it's just like, how does that help determine one or the other? Like you said, like it doesn't. So what is the point of the experiment or whatever?
Right. So you guys never even had buy-in on the 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 fact that the topology of a surface can be determined in this way. You don't think that that's possible. Is that right? What's your name?
I don't think it's
Beasticles.
I don't think it's possible.
Okay. Well then, yes, this experiment is going to be lost on you.
Well, I
Um,
think it already assumes a flat plane. That's the problem.
that's fine to assume that. Listen, that's fine. Assume that all you like.
I mean, because how will the shadows appear on what? Because you say take a flat Earth, take a globe Earth. You're gonna take a globe that was built off of elevation angles. Like this is why like we're at such a great expanse between us and what we're talking about. But I know how a globe is created. You
Okay.
seem to think that whatever result you get is going to be because it's a sphere. But
No. I'm
in
not even
relation to
presuming the
what?
result. Hold on. I'm not even presuming the result. I'm just saying that this is just an experiment that could be
No, but what
done.
are you not saying? You're not giving specifics as to how the epistemology is laid. You haven't laid it out. You just said the shadows would be different if it were flat versus if it were globe. I'm not.
So
Why
how
don't you just go ahead and
the
stop? Don't stop talking. Keep talking until
never.
you explain that.
So if you assume that there's a post in the ground at one part of the Earth, it casts a shadow on a sunny day, and there's a angle created between the tip of the shadow and the tip of the object casting the shadow. So there's a right angle there. At the same time, over in jolly old England,
Fuck this.
someone doing the same experiment with like a one for one copy of the same post. Um, if it's on a flat surface, ought to cast the exact same shadow at the exact same angle. But on a round surface, it'd be quite different. The lengths of the shadow and the angle created between the shadow and the post would be different. And that's true if you just look at a basketball or if you just look at a
Angle. I'm sorry. The angle to what?
the tip of the shadow cast on the ground to the vertex, like the tallest point of the post casting the shadow.
Sun's gonna give different
What do
angles
you?
for all of
But
us.
I don't understand why on a flat plane there would be the same angles. What are the posts in the same exact spot? Like what? I don't get it. In relation to what? Like you're saying the shadow, like, but clearly it's the light source. Let's keep it real. Like that's.
The light source, let's keep it real. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
So
The
I'm
light
trying to
source
figure
is
out like
causing
why
the
the hell
shadows,
what do
right?
you mean with what do you mean you would expect the shadow to be the same if the angle to the if the angle is the same, the angle to what? The shadow in the post?
Yes. So draw an
Okay,
imaginary
so
line between the tip of the shadow to the top of the post, and then the post in relation to the ground is just the 90 degrees of the triangle. So the hypotenuse is the
90
imaginary
degrees
line you
of
draw
wait,
between
90
the
degrees of
shadow
what?
and the tip of the post.
90 degrees of 90 degrees from I guess the end of the shadow to the base of the post and the top of the post.
The base of the post.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know
the
why.
base of the post, the obelisk, right? That's straight up in the air, 90 degrees, right? Okay, then
Yes.
it's casting a shadow. Boom. Tip of the obelisk to the base of the shadow, how far the shadow goes, right? Now from the bottom of the post, the bottom of the obelisk to the tip of the shadow, what is that? What would you say that would be? Would you say that would be a straight line? Because it's an angle?
From the bottom of the post to the tip of the shadow?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, be straight.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
All right. Those are angles.
Uh-huh.
But I still want to understand, like, what do you mean on a flat Earth you would expect a light to, I mean, not a light, but the shadow to be the same angle?
Well, on a flat
Like,
plane, the relationship between the light hitting both posts would be the same.
oh, so it is about the
Um,
light.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean that's one part of it. I mean it's
Okay.
kind of necessary to cast a shadow.
You know what? Do you have a diagram?
Do I have a diagram? Sure.
Yeah. Send it.
Wait, I'm doing all this off the top of my head. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, because you're right. I mean, I have a very great imagination. I can see things, but I'm trying to figure out how. I just need to see what you're saying.
You need me to like open MS Paint?
Yeah, a diagram. I don't care how you do it.
Okay.
Sure. Open up MS Paint. Go ahead. I'm
So,
with you, Elijah, on the confusion because I'm like, how would this, like, what are you expecting to see differently? Like, because all we can do is put sticks in the ground, all of us, measure the shadows, right, in relation to the light. Like, I don't understand, like, the angles of the shadows in itself, that sentence, the angle of the shadow, it has to be straight. You can't have curved angles.
Well, you have the stars that are so far. Like, the only thing that would make sense is that they're so far that they'll be at different, and on the diagram they'll be at different angles to the sky, but they'll say on the curved surface of the Earth, since light is parallel, it doesn't matter where it is spatially in the sky because it'll still come from this one particular angle.
If
And
it
it's
is
like, that's
parallel.
a crazy backwards way of what I was saying, except with the flat plane though.
I mean, it's so confusing going through these, like, it just doesn't make, like,
I know it's
sundials
tough.
work.
I know.
You know sundials work? You know that?
Uh-huh. Which point?
I'm just saying sundials work. It's like they're measuring
Okay,
angles
okay.
and shadows.
What is your point by saying sundials work?
If sundials work, that means you have to, if you're measuring the shadow of the angle, right? Or the angle of the shadow in relation to tell what time it is. That's 90 degrees. It's a 90-degree right angle triangle every time. It just, and depending on how short that right angle triangle is, it determines what time it is. So for that to work, right, the angle of the shadow is flat every time.
The angle of the shadow is flat.
It's flat every time. Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
You do understand that with just the observation of how fucking sundials works, it ruins the assertion that the Earth is that curved surface that you keep asserting.
Right. Like, literally, just thinking about it. Yeah.
I disappeared for 20 minutes and you're still talking about this, but I'm really glad you brought up sundials because, yeah, sundials would ruin your assertion that the light will be doing something different on the curved surface.
This is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like, would it be done on a flat Earth or a globe? Or it's like you have an angle, fam. Like, what?
You have an
Like,
angle.
doesn't?
Yeah. I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh God.
Well,
I'm
you have an angle that's directly related to the plane of the Earth.
Uh-huh.
right. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
mean,
There you go. It's that simple.
Okay, so you accept that.
Otherwise, the
So
sundial wouldn't work.
you would
So
just
do
say
you
it's a tangent point. Like, it's just a plane at the one particular area I'm standing at, sure, I could use a plane, but the ground that I'm standing on is curved. Yeah, I mean, I know what you think, but I just don't like how you justify it. I don't know.
But that's not what's going on there at all.
Like,
You don't know what he's thinking. You don't even have an understanding of
I'm
what
waiting for the
the
diagram.
geometry
I'm
he's
trying.
talking about. No, and that's fine. So, but don't say you know what he's saying when you don't, right?
Oh, you don't know what he's saying either,
Well,
the
then,
well,
buddy.
geometry. Oh
I
no,
don't
no, no,
know
no!
what
I do know
I
what
don't
he's
know what
saying.
his
I'm
point is.
familiar with the geometry and the
I don't know what his
proportionality of the
point.
shadow to the height of an object, and then it changes, according to the latitude, not the longitude. That the shadows are longer, when one time of the year, and the sun
Man,
moves
you get
across the sky
latitudes
in
from
different
elevation
angles
angles as
across
well.
the
So
time, like the
yeah,
time of the year.
elevation
The days
angles.
are longer during the summer
Well,
and
Yeah, yeah.
shorter during the winter, and
Elevation
summer
angles
is
with
is like
flat baselines. Yeah.
summer
yeah.
is winter in the southern
I mean,
hemisphere.
just
You
think
know what I
about
mean?
how a
It's
sundial
Yeah,
works.
hypocrisy.
this is just like a Channel 13 reading Rainbow rendition of like why the
Oh,
Earth is a
so you
globe.
don't think that it's summer? You don't think it's no? I'm not. I don't. I'm not making the case that the Earth is a
No, that's
globe.
Hold
what
on.
I'm
what I'm
saying
saying
that
is
this is the
if you
geometry
really
of the
think
shadows that
if
he's
you really
talking
think
about.
that at
That like
1 o'clock in
shadows
the morning
vary, and like
you
you
need
don't
to tell a
understand the
Yeah.
grown
basic
man that
geometry on
when
how
it's
that might.
winter, it's summer somewhere else, and when it's summer somewhere else, it's winter here. That's what I thought was weird. It's like, yeah, you don't need to tell me that. I know that.
It's
We're not even talking about
it's
that right
winter in the
now. We're
southern
talking about let's
hemisphere.
just talk about a sundial. Just let's keep it simple on a sundial here, okay? How would you know it's noon on a sundial? Right? You would know it's noon because the sun's directly above, the shadow being not even there, right? That's noon. And then you would have 1 o'clock. Oh, the shadow gets a little bit longer. 2 o'clock. Oh, it's a little bit longer. 3 o'clock. Oh, it's a little bit longer. That's why sundials work. But it's because the angle of the shadow is you have to assume it's flat because it is flat. That's the 90-degree elevate. That's why I picture in my mind. I see why sundials work. Like I get it. Like I see it. I don't know how you guys don't see this. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Sundials
No,
work, right? We can
No
agree
one said a
sundials work.
sundial didn't work.
just wrong. What
Sun
you have in
so
your
Uh,
mind
sun
is
so
incorrect.
so
I
sundials
don't think
don't work.
I don't think a
Yes, it
sundial
doesn't.
is
It doesn't
that
work on 90-degree angles. That's not the nature of sundials.
sundials is not exactly relevant to anything that I'm saying,
Okay,
but
hold on.
I mean,
Let's
but,
rewind. Do
don't go
sundials
off
work?
me. What you're talking about a device to tell time. I never
Do
brought up time.
sundials work?
Yes, I think they do.
Sundials work. Great. How do they work on a curved surface?
All right, you ready for my MS
They don't
Paint?
work on a curved surface. That's my point.
There you go. They don't
Well,
work on a curved
well,
surface. Therefore,
They
plane.
don't.
I mean, there you go. How about
No,
that?
but they work because the sun is making a 15-degree arc per hour above it.
Awesome. So that's the path
Because
of
the
the
sun
sun
is
now.
moving.
The sun moves
Yeah,
across
the
the
sun
sky.
has yeah, the sun has to be making an arc. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's the
Okay,
sun then.
are we?
I thought the Earth, sorry, very quickly. I thought the Earth was spinning underneath the sun. You just said the sun moves across the sky at 15 degrees an hour. Proof of nothing because we can have both situations. Either the Earth is moving or the sun's moving. You idiot.
That's right. Yeah, it's called relative motion. There's a word for
Okay,
Okay,
it.
so
I
Oh
put
my
my
god.
little drawing in there. Do you see what I'm talking about? How the shadows would behave differently on a
Guys, no, a
curved versus
sundial
flat
is to
surface?
track the movement of the sun. Sundial.
I don't know what these guys know at this point. Obviously.
ooh,
What the fuck
Hiram,
did
No,
your
I
you
mean really.
draw?
There's
diagram's
nothing
not
that
good, man.
like there's no appeal
Wait,
to the
what?
obvious.
No, like literally,
Your
that's what it
diagram's no
does.
good. Sorry,
Wait, sorry. What? Say that again.
your diagram is not good.
Well, it's motherfucking MS Paint, so I don't know what's.
I know,
What do you want me to do?
but
You have to
it doesn't
understand,
get
guys.
across your point.
Oh no! See how the shadows
No,
are different.
I know, but it doesn't get across your point.
That diagram. No offense, bro, but that's ridiculous.
I think it works perfectly. I think it actually drives the point home perfectly well.
Oh, it does it? Oh, I'm a believer now.
Well, I got something I want to talk about. Actually, kind of related to the sun. So I took some photographs of the sun at different parts of the day. So I took one right at noon and took a picture of the sun right in the morning, like 6 o'clock. And I zoomed in really close to the sun, so there wasn't much of the like specular effects. And what I noticed is that the size of the sun remains pretty much the same throughout the day. And
shit.
Wow, I don't know what you're smoking.
what do you mean? So have you have
This is
you have you taken pictures of the sun yourself?
Yeah, this is an observation that has been done countless amounts of times. I'm just going to point a few things out to you. You're making this observation throughout the day in your local location. If you were to
Yeah.
change the location, change the humidity of the air and change the altitude, you will notice in different conditions, like a desert, for example, the sun can disappear into a small, tiny pinprick before it even reaches the horizon, depending on the atmospheric conditions and where you are. So a desert, for example, I can give you those observations if you
So you're
wish. The
so
sun
you're saying
will.
with a 10x with like a 10x zoom lens that you can't take the picture of a sun when it's setting?
It's like you didn't even hear a word that come out of my mouth.
No, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. That you said that
So
because
in
of the
different locations.
atmosphere in the desert that it makes the sun appear like a pinprick. I'm hearing everything you're saying.
Good. So in different locations, the sun will
Okay.
appear to change in its angular size. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. What's the
Depending
problem
on
here?
where you are. No.
Wait.
Right. Okay, but
hold on.
I said very.
But if sunset is caused by
Not
perspective,
just depending on where you are. It's also depending on the time of the year.
if sunset is caused by if sunset's caused by the perspective, why would it vary? Like, why would it sometimes not change size? Why would it sometimes change size?
Still, so Flat Earth Jedi. The point that I was saying is that I used a 10x lens to remove these specular effects, like just a normal 10x lens. And like I said, the size of the sun remained the same in both of my observations.
Both. So two observations, just two. What I would
Okay,
suggest
right,
is
no, and I'm saying that this is a
going to make my
simple.
point to make you understand the point. If you were, for example, to make lots of observations in different locations across the Earth at different times of the year from different altitudes, right, you would get maybe something different.
Okay, so that's what I'm hoping that more flat earthers would do is that they take zoomed in pictures of the sun, preferably a 10x zoom or something like that, and to take them at different points of the day. And as far as I understand, the size of the sun never changes in the sky. That's why, like, something like a 10x zoom is important because it reduces the specular effects of the sun
I'll
in
show
the
you.
photographs.
I'll show you a video right now with the solar filter on and the size change. It's a sun fade out video, by the.
That doesn't seem to be a solar filter. Let me double check that image.
Oh no,
That
this
video.
one. I'll show you one with the solar filter right now. Give me a second.
Okay, yeah, because the one you're showing doesn't seem to have a solar filter at all.
I didn't post anything yet.
Oh, okay. Well, bring me a dream. Sorry, bring me a dream posted a video, and it does not have a solar filter in that video.
No, but it is in Africa, right? Africa near the equator, which is where you would really see the effect of the sun looking like it's getting way smaller as it starts to its descent towards the horizon. Now, if you were in like Ireland or Greenland or somewhere near the north, right? You would not notice the size that like it wouldn't be that detrimental in terms of like you wouldn't be able to.
Not even in winter. I would expect that in winter, if you're in Ireland on the flat Earth, that you would still see the sun very far away.
Whoa. What did you say? Repeat that about what you would expect on a flat Earth.
In Ireland, in winter, you would expect the sun to, go very far off into the distance
Look
on
in
the
the
horizon.
Look in the chat.
Alright, yeah.
I have no idea what they would expect to see. Like, I don't understand a flat earther's opinion on the relationship of the sun to the flat Earth.
They believe that
I would
the
need to
Earth is a
understand.
disk. They
Well,
believe
let
that the
them
Earth is a
say it.
disk.
No,
and
he
that
does.
Let
Who's
them say
saying
it.
that?
Let them
guy.
say it. They're already disagreeing with you, and like they're the flat earthers, so I'd like to hear it from them.
What do you mean? The flat Earth belief is well understood and has been well explicated over the years.
You
It's
don't
not something
understand it at
new.
all. So you're the
I
last
actually,
person who should be saying that.
no,
You
I
just
actually
tried
So
to
do.
speak
why
for
are
us and
flat
completely
earthers
failed
telling
on
you you're
sentence
wrong
number
on their
one.
beliefs? Like I don't care about your opinion of their beliefs.
Okay,
But
so you guys,
I would like to
so
hear
you
a
don't
flat
believe
earther's
that the
opinion
Earth,
on a flat earth belief.
so you don't believe that the Earth is a
Call
disk
me
and that the
crazy.
sun goes in a
No, who told you?
circle
Which flat
over
No.
earther told you
the,
that? Which flat earther told you it's a disc? Who?
or a plane, you know, with a massive ice wall, you know, right?
No,
And that
ice
the
wall isn't
sun,
really important.
and that the sun rotates in a circle around this disk of the Earth. You know, I'm not saying that the disk is suspended in space or whatever. You know,
Yeah, there's no disc.
that's supposedly a
Keep saying
psyop.
disc.
Well, there's the disk of the Earth, of the explored Earth
Oh,
inside of
nobody's saying disc.
the ice wall.
A disc is a particular shape, and nobody's making that shape claim that I know of.
There's a puddle or a pond shaped disc shaped pond
Stop
inside
saying
of an
You're really
ice
disc.
trying to
wall.
insert this word disc for us, but you're the only one doing that, not us.
You can understand discs can be thick. The disc can have indentations inside of
I'm
them.
not claiming the
I've
shape
already
of a
told you it's a
disc.
specific shape claim, and
Okay,
nobody's
so
making
fine.
that but you for us.
A plane with a disc shaped indentation. Is that better?
Well, you're
No.
still trying to push this disc thing.
No, I mean, look, I mean, how else
Are
would you
you
describe it that
dense?
there being some kind of indentation, a circular indentation inside of an ice sheet or an ice plane? Like, how would you describe that more
The
properly?
argument is that water is level and horizontal when at rest, and 71% of the Earth is said to be covered in
Okay,
water. Therefore,
so
it cannot be a ball.
disengaging.
Balls
So now you
cannot
just
have 71% flat
so now you're
surfaces.
just
That's the
completely
argument. It's not
disengaging
about ice
No,
balls.
from the
It's not
that's
about
discussion.
pretty accurate what you just said.
yeah. The
Because no
straw
one's
manning
claiming
and
the
stuff.
shape, bro.
Look,
I'm not disengaging. I'm
I'm
giving you
not
the
straw
claim.
man.
Like
Look,
a
no,
guy
no,
asked what our claim was, and you tried to answer for us, right? And you keep trying to push this straw man claim onto us that I'm
straw
telling you
man.
is not
What
actually our
straw
claim.
man? What
You
straw
are
Why is he?
man?
putting a
Why is
straw
he
man.
still voiced? Why is he still voiced? I'm asking in a flat Earth channel what the flat Earth belief is on the sun, and this guy keeps representing 10 people, 20 people. Why is he still voiced?
Yeah, good question.
But regardless whether he's voiced or not, like as long as he's quiet, I just want to hear, like honestly, what if flat Earth believes about the relationship between the sun, so that I can understand, like geometrically, what I would expect to see.
The
Not to
sun moves
prove anything.
around. The sun moves around the Earth
in a circle, like I was saying.
It's interesting when you say
I don't
expect to
know about
see.
that. I don't know about
Sorry.
that, but I don't know about that, but y'all go off.
So is there not agreement?
Sorry. It's when you say expect to see. We all see the sun. The sun does what it does. So we all see that. Then we're not going to expect to see anything different other than what we observe the
Well,
sun to
no,
do.
no, no, no. Of course we expect. I expect the sun. It's nighttime here right now, sir. I expect the sun's going to come up tomorrow. Okay, and like
Okay.
I have a geometric model in my head, which may be wrong or may be right, and like I have reasons to expect that. I expect the days to get longer in December because of the geometric model that I have in my head. Is that yes?
Gotcha.
I am a glober. It is like if it is a sphere spinning on an axis around the sun, that in fact the days would be longer in the northern hemisphere during this, during the summer months, right? So that's what
Yeah.
I would expect to see, and then I do see it. So now I'm fine with some evidence to the contrary. In fact, that's what I'm asking for. But it would
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
make sense geometrically, right? That's
Okay.
reasonable, no?
Yeah. No, you are correct. It's just when you say what I would expect to see on a flat Earth, we all see what the sun does. Right? We don't expect anything apart from
Yeah,
what the sun already does.
I mean, clearly, I'm not gonna. When I ask you, how you believe the sun interacts with the Earth, right? Like, like I haven't been presented with the case for a flat Earth. I've been presented with many cases for the round Earth, and like the things I
Okay.
see, like coincide with what I would expect to see, right? Mathematically,
Okay.
like geometrically. Okay,
Okay.
so that's fine. That doesn't mean the Earth is round. That's just like there's a reasonable path for me to get there. So I just want to
Awesome.
understand. Like I have no
You
idea
want to,
how the sun behaves around a flat Earth that could produce
so
the same thing. Longer days
you
in the
want
winter,
another
summer,
you want,
for
you
instance.
want another explanation. Yeah? You want another explanation, not a ball Earth model, but a possibility of what the Earth could be in relationship to the sun with regards to, say, day cycles and seasonal cycles, right?
Right. Yeah.
Or
And that's it. I mean, like, I know I see. It's not even like what I would expect to see. I do see,
right.
right? And I consistently see. The same way I know the sun's coming up tomorrow, I do see. I had to move. So I lived on a lake that faced directly south. It was wide open,
That's
okay?
fine.
And I had to move my computer like during the year because the glare would come in at different points because of the angle of
Gotcha.
incidence from the sun, right? So
Gotcha. Now, I'm going to give you an example, though I couldn't prove the example. All right. I'll give you an
sure,
idea of what possibly could be happening. Okay.
sure.
It's not my claim. I'm just going to give you another example. So, for example, some people suggest, not me completely, but some people suggest that north is the central point and the earth radiates out from that, like our person suggested, the circle of the earth, right? Now, if we're going to be talking about seasonal cycles, do you understand or do you know what the Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer are?
Yes.
Awesome
I
stuff.
th-
So, if the Earth is if the Earth is stationary and the Sun is indeed the thing that is moving over the period of the year, it will go between these two tropics, the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. When the
Okay.
Sun circles the North Tropic of Cancer, this is why because of the proximity of the light source, that's why we have summer in the northern hemisphere, and where in the south the sun is further away, it's winter there. 6 months later, when it crosses over the equator and starts to circle the Tropic of Capricorn, it's summer in the south and winter in the north. Now, that's
Okay.
one model.
And that's fine. And that's and that would also produce. So like now I hope you understand like that like if that were the case, I would expect to see what we see. And that's fine. Yeah, cool.
No problem, my friend.
Problem is, he's trying to
Yeah,
say that
but that
respectfully to.
the problem with
Oh,
that
go
is
ahead,
that's a
Felicia.
flat plane model. Yeah. That's a flat plane model with a celestial sphere in which the lights move above you, a non-rotating stationary plane. I even posted something in the chat that is loosely related, but definitely related to the premise.
You see, problem is like geocentrism works totally fine, always has. There's really no justification for the heliocentric model other than for control and to basically pollute your worldview. It's my personal opinion.
Hello.
Yo,
What's up, boys?
talking about the nature of Earth. What's up?
Not shit. Just picked up some drugs. Hop in, see what's going on.
Base.
Yeah, kind of based, I guess.
You have a question?
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
About what? The Earth, flat Earth?
Well, if you don't have a question, do you mind if I ask you one?
Sure. Go ahead.
Do you believe you're on a spinning ball in the vacuum of space?
Oh, bro.
He jumps into a flat Earth server and has a faint exasperation when asked about the fucking topic of the server.
I know, but I mean, I'm laughing at myself. But yeah, I do. I do believe we live on a spherical planet.
Why is that?
Can't you
Well,
prove it with two sticks and shit?
well, see, I don't have to go through a whole tangent, but I think I have enough time or an easier time convincing the Earth is round than Earth being flat.
So that appeal to consensus, it's easier for people to understand.
No, that's not the case. Doesn't mean that because everybody agrees doesn't mean like you're following sheep. I mean, of course, that could be on different things, like the vaccine. We could say something like that that ties to it, but not in this situation. I mean, just due to the fact that I still, I've talked to a lot of you guys over the past couple days. I still cannot get a definitive answer about the dome because nobody can give me one. Right, because you guys go back and forth and you argue on the dome,
Okay,
or like you're
well,
just not set on the dome,
well,
or like,
here,
you know what I
let's
mean?
simplify it. Let's simplify it. All right. Do you agree that there's air pressure?
Yeah, we did this last night. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I,
And
I've got to answer this. Why do you think that people kind of don't want to necessarily claim dome?
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I just feel like dome would be the easier way to describe something
Yeah.
holding it.
So
You
two
know?
things. That invokes shape. Now, no one can clarify shape of dome. So an arc across the sky, right, or a like upside down
Right.
bowl, right?
Like
So
that's
no
not
one
the
can
thing,
actually.
though. Like,
Sorry.
why is shape like? I get it. Like you try and steer away from shape because flat Earth, but I mean, doesn't mean that like it can't be a dome,
is
No,
flat
that's
the
right. It
shape?
can't be a dome. It
huh?
can't. Yeah, it can be either way. The second point. Sorry, Beastcalls, man. The
Sorry,
second
no, go
point
ahead,
to this.
brother.
And you're fine. The second point to this is when people bring up
Size of flat
firmament
plane.
or dome. That brings into like a kind of biblical cosmological idea. And then all of a sudden, as soon as anybody says firmament or dome, invoking the firmament, then we're already off and give people the opportunity to start building straw men or or saying that we're using a religious argument. So we're kind of trying to avoid that, I think.
I see.
Now, I don't necessarily mind answering that question, but like I said, dome
You kind
invokes
of just
shape.
did though.
You understand though, right?
Right? Yeah, I get it.
Good, good.
But well then we. Well, I guess I did answer the other guy's question as well. But I mean, I'm on board with a lot of the ideas and stuff about NASA lying and shit like that. But still, for some reason, I mean, I've been coming back here just because I'm curious. It's been like 3 days in a row now, and I think I've heard
Taking
all of
is
the arguments you guys do, but it still hasn't really convinced me yet. So,
we're not here to
but
convince you, bro.
no, I know. I'm just trying to like just try to see
You're
how
not,
you guys think for a
not
while.
convinced. You won't be convinced until you do something like
What do you mean,
out
like
in
a
the real
science
world.
experiment?
No, like an observation of something that, first of all, you have to have an expectation. Something that would be directly, something that would falsify what you held
Right.
as a standard.
Right, like
And
have an
so,
experience or something. Like people who see ghosts and believe in ghosts, they believe in it because they had an experience or something. And like you're saying, I won't ever truly believe it unless something in my daily ritual doesn't make sense if the Earth was a globe. But I can't think of anything personally.
or you could wait for the next eclipse. We'll be around for that. Or
Yo,
you
quick question.
could
What about
for you could wait for a comet. Um,
What's with the
you
comet? I
could
mean,
wait.
I've seen comets fall from the sky.
the light experiment though?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I mean, we're because again, like
What is that?
Comet Neowise, for example, like Comet Neowise was 63 million miles away, supposedly.
What about
With a tail as long as 1 million miles, supposedly.
Right.
what?
But the diameter was, I think, 3 miles wide. And so, given the dimensions of this thing, how the fuck would
Three
we be
miles
able to
wide.
do that? Yeah, 3 miles wide,
What about the
63 million miles away. Like
Well,
that's just
wouldn't it
people
break down
at your
though?
back.
Wouldn't
what
it? Wouldn't
about
it not break down? Are you saying 3 miles wide when it got to Earth? That makes sense.
No, no, 3 miles wide
what
in
about the
diameter with
what
Comet
about
Neowise. And it was 63 million miles away. That's like me seeing a piece of my hair 10 blocks away.
Oh, you're
and
saying
that's
they
a better
observed it.
ratio than 63 million miles and three fucking miles in diameter. Come on,
Yeah, I never knew that. That's kind of
Yo,
silly.
yo,
I
what
saw
about the
5 here, but even so, yeah,
Yeah, it's
I don't
wild.
know. We see.
quick question to the room? What about that light experiment video though? How do you explain that?
Yeah, very
Which one?
vague.
No,
Which
how do you
one?
I
explain
posted
that
it.
the
I
sun?
posted it in
How do you
chat.
explain that the sun doesn't? How do you explain that the sun didn't set in the video that
Dude,
Homeboy posted
that video just
with the
like is
solar
such
filter?
bad quality. That's like a Bigfoot video. That's how I
What?
explain that one.
It's a
Like,
Bigfoot video.
I'm
That's your answer.
Bad
like, yeah,
quality.
that's like a Bigfoot sighting,
You
dude.
you
That's the
see
worst quality.
you
Like
Okay.
see the
I
sun.
could have
Like,
done
come
that
on.
on my Pentium back in 1992. I could
It's
have
all a
rendered that,
conspiracy. That's
right?
the answer.
You know, no, no,
Hold
no,
on,
no,
hold
no,
up, hold
no,
up,
no.
hold
I
up.
would want to see more photos, right? So the thing is that like the flat Earth claim
Bro,
has generally
bro,
been,
that's
in my
what the sun
experience,
does,
that like
man.
all
Like,
of the
I mean,
NASA images are faked
are you
and a
obsessed right
conspiracy.
now?
So to
Chill out,
trust in
bro.
this little silly Bigfoot video is really
Yo,
kind of
man. Can we?
hypocritical.
Hey, Kennedy, I want to
Yeah.
go back to your question. All right.
Someone put
Okay.
too much sugar in the
So,
coffee.
what
Calm
you
down,
know
mate.
what it was
Cheers.
for me? The thought experiment, right? Not even a thought experiment, just like an observation. So, you know about the globe model and how we're supposed to be moving through space, right? And all these different movements we're supposed to be that are
Right.
supposed to be occurring.
We're supposed to be like turning into, or like
We're supposed to be
over a
spinning
long period
1,000
of
miles per hour, right? 1,000 miles per
into
hour,
something. Right. We're supposed to
and
be
then we're
spinning
also supposed
into
to
like a
be
black hole, like a huge black hole.
right. We're supposed to be spinning 1,000 miles per hour. That's one movement. Then we're also supposed to be spinning 67,000 miles per hour. That's another movement. That's around the sun. Then the sun is supposed to be going around the Milky Way, around the black hole at 666,000 miles per hour, right? All these movements,
Ooh,
right?
spooky.
And all these
Spooky
movements,
numbers.
right? Yet we see the same fucking stars and the
Wait, hold on, wait.
same
I don't
spots
mean to
in the
interrupt,
sky
but
at
what
all.
was the number that you said about the sun?
It's
666?
Yeah, it's not like
Isn't
it's
that
on purpose
crazy?
or anything,
I
or
know,
like,
but like, listen
or like
though.
the 93 million
Hold,
miles away,
right.
93
Hold on,
Club
I'm
or
gonna bring
anything,
something up. Just
No, I
like,
get you. I get what you're
the
saying.
sun and like old scripture and stuff like that. The enlightened one that was Lucifer, which is weird. I don't know. I don't know if you tie
Well,
that
it's the
together.
heliocentric model. We don't want to go too deep into that
I know. I just thought a
aspect, but
coincidence.
you can. But
I
just
just coincidence.
think of it logically, real quick though. We see the same constellations, right, in the sky, depending on where you are, at the same times of year in, year out, over and over and over again, right? Yet we're doing all these fucking movements.
Right.
How does that connect with you? You know what I mean? How does it doesn't connect with my observable reality and the way they're describing it. That's just one thing
I
for
think you
me.
don't have a perception of like how
I
far
mean,
these objects are,
yeah,
Oh
but like,
how
yes,
far
that's what they always
and how
say. It's
far
just
and
so
fast.
far
but
Yeah,
like,
away
well,
we can't tell it.
hold
because they
on.
might be right. Like
Yeah.
maybe you should
Well,
think
see, this
about
is
that.
the thing, though. This is the thing why this whole argument is like really infuriating because nobody fucking really knows. I guess if you don't trust the science, how could I trust anybody on YouTube? Like, not saying that anybody is smarter than anyone, but in reality, if you look at it from my perspective, both could be wrong. We all could be wrong. Earth might not be flat. The Earth,
Certainly, yes.
like the equations that they use to calculate certain things have been proven wrong. These are theories. I mean, this is just all a big thought experiment for me, and I guess it is. I don't want to believe. I can't lash my belief onto the Earth being flat, but also I can come to the conclusion that I understand where you guys come from, that the Earth is not round. I mean, but at the
You have
end
to
of the
start
day,
from
we don't know.
unlearning, bro. Cause like it's
Well, listen, I
unlearning.
do. Like that's how I got out of. Like I don't even believe in right and left anymore. I used to be really big into politics. Used to be really left leaning, and I mean, I'm pretty educated in that
Good, bro.
aspect. Politics. I never
It's
really
good. You're
threw.
thinking for yourself. You're not appealing to
Right,
authority or relying on someone
right.
else's
No, I get
authority.
that.
Here's the
Then,
biggest difference between flat Earth and globe Earth, right? One, you can falsify. The other, you can't. One you can go out and see things for yourselves, right? The other, you have to be an astronaut. You have to be in space. You have to take their word for it.
well, I mean, you could you could work to become an astronaut.
You get what I
it's
mean,
not like
though. One's gate kept, the
yeah,
other's not.
but I mean, we don't have the technology for everybody to just go up into space right now.
Yeah, but how
What
do
if
you know
what if
space
that's the
exists?
case? Well, I
How do you
mean, what are
know?
we
How do you know
doing then?
space
Why is
exists?
Elon Musk trying to go to Mars and stuff? I mean, what do you think is going to happen like 200 years from now? Do you think we're going to branch out of the Earth, or do you think like we're never going to go
But
anywhere?
you're
Like, what
making all
about
these
satellites?
assumptions, bro. You're making
I'm just
all
saying,
these
like, Starlink
assumptions.
is real, right? That's
What is
floating.
real?
Starlink.
Listen, listen.
Well, hold
I'm
on.
going to
I
the.
mean,
Listen, they
No, no,
got him,
wait,
bro.
wait.
Let's admit it. They got him, bro. They got him. It's too late for him, you know.
for who?
I don't know what this
Elon?
guy's talking about. But just hear me out,
What do
Ken.
you mean? How do you not know what I'm saying, bro? It's very obvious. They got this other brother.
Oh,
He's defaulting to stuff like Starlink are real. Come on now.
Starlink is. Do you even know what that is?
No,
I
I
know
no
know
one
what
is
it
Starlink.
is,
saying.
brother.
I
We
mean, it's
know you
pretty.
believe in a globe Earth. We get it. You believe in a globe Earth. We
I
get
mean,
it.
that would work if the Earth was flat either. I don't understand.
Well, then it's a moot point. Why'd you bring
Well,
it up?
just explain exactly my
To
point.
try and
Just
talk
he
about a
just
globe
argues with
Earth.
me when because he just doesn't know, and he's like, "Oh, globe Earth," but he's so stupid it actually work in his
They can,
favor.
if Starlink can work on either or, why even bring it up?
There's no point. That
Exactly the
exactly.
point.
That's why I said when he said, I said
That's
they got
exactly
him.
the point. Because he just
No, but
argues. Because he
so
thought
let's.
he didn't even know
No,
what
no.
Starlink was.
Who
No,
didn't know what Starlink was?
Whoever the black dude.
everyone in this chat knows what Starlink is, bro. The point is, you brought up an irrelevant point because the other guy was saying something to you. He literally complimented you on saying, "Hey, look,
The
you're thinking for
conversation was going a
yourself,"
lot smoother before
and
you
then
just
you
chimed in
were.
and said nothing.
I know. It probably was,
Listen.
brother.
Here's the frustration, right? The frustration for all of us is
He's
number one.
programmed.
Well, it's number one is deprogramming. You have to understand that if you grew up, right? If you were 5 years old, you went to the beach, and you just, trusted your senses, right? You look over at the beach, you look over at the ocean, you see a flat level, horizontal view. You don't feel like you're moving. You
Yeah,
had
but
to be.
that's a lot to do with
You
the
had to be.
sun too.
Hold on.
The
You had.
sun.
Well, let me finish my point. My point is, you have to be told the heliocentric model
That's
for
not
you to
true though.
believe it.
If you look at it, like the.
If you were five
I'm
years
trying.
old and you didn't know anything about planets, right? You didn't know shit about the stars, shit about planets, shit about the sun, right? Why the fuck would you automatically assume just naturally that you're spinning 1,000 miles per hour? You know what I mean? And that we're on a ball. No one would assume that ever in their right mind ever. They had to be told that shit.
Yo,
That's the
my friend
point.
came to visit me out here, right? And like I've been like slowly, like earlier, I had her listen in, and when I pointed out, I was like, look, you keep thinking that I have an ideology, and I'm just giving you a description of what I see with nothing extra. But I guarantee you, when you describe things from the perspective of a globe, you'll have to infer some things. So, for example, I see things move in the sky, but
Yep.
from the point of view of where we used to all come from, actually, I see things moving in the sky because I'm actually moving on a sphere, blah, blah, blah. And she said, you know what? I never thought of that, like ever. Like I just I just see the stuff moving. That's just what it is. I never picture myself moving, and that's like nobody thinks about that. I was like, yeah, I know. Another thing we were talking about was she somewhere from in the West Indies. She's like expecting to see something like 100 miles away. Not expecting to see it, but she said, "Well, I know that Cuba is that way." In that direction. She's like, but I just thought the Earth was like super massive. Like 100 miles is nothing. Like I didn't think that there would be enough curvature between me and 100 miles. Like so, I just assumed 100 miles into the distance that okay, Cuba is in that direction. It's just too small for me to see. And I said, well, goddamn. Well, she was like, I never like, cause she was like, why are you saying that? I was like, because if the ground is curving away from you, then you would expect this. And she was like, Nah, I never thought about that like ever.
Right. Right.
She's
It's something you have
Earth.
to be told.
Yeah, she's
It's
grown.
crazy.
She's like 30 years old, and she thinks it's a globe.
Yeah, it's wild. And the thing is, bro, no one like Kennedy. Have you ever thought
What's up?
about the implications if we were telling you the truth?
Well, hold on. I was gonna tell you about when you sit at the beach. I never got to. I just want to bring this up because the reason of that, if you're sitting at the beach and you look at the ocean, you don't see curvature. That's due to ray refraction. I mean,
Yeah,
pretty
but no one
simple.
knows what the fuck you just said at 5 years old. What are you talking about?
Well, you tell your kid that. I mean, you
Yeah,
tell
that's
them it's
something you have
science.
to be told.
Well, what about ray refraction? I mean, you could literally demonstrate it with them with, a piece of glass and light
But
and how light bends and stuff like that.
Them, you have to tell them.
I'm pretty sure that you do learn that in school.
Dude, that sounds like
Ray-Ban,
atheist mumbo jumbo.
I also needed to be told that a triangle's angles add
but
up to
second of all,
180
Ray
degrees.
bending,
I had a lot of
yo,
stuff to learn when I was 5 years old.
I mean, we learned about
fuck.
rainbows in like what, fucking like
Hold
fifth
on, before
grade,
we
fourth
get to
grade.
back to before we get to rainbows, back to the other thing though. You know that the rays and all of that.
Well,
He
that
did
goes with
that.
rainbows.
He did that over a flat Earth, and then had to input calculations for a globe after the fact. So his observations were purely assuming the Earth was a plane. This
Well, you
is
could do
Andrew
that.
Thomas Young.
Well, right, but
So
you
I'm
could
no
also
ray bending and the rays and stuff that you're talking about. Like all of
right.
that data is collected off of a flat plane and
There's
then mathematically put on a
no,
sphere. But
but
the measurement came from a flat plane. So I don't know why you guys even think that's so.
no. I mean, he's done it. I mean, because when it comes to stuff like that, they do it multiple in different ways. They test different ways. He's done it flat. He's also done it with the
But
curvature and all of that. I mean,
like I
this
said,
is
Can't do it
guys,
otherwise anyone else would come up to the
are
podium and be like, "Hey, this doesn't work on a curve or something." Like he would have been shut down. You
coherent.
could look it up. There's a PDF. I'm pretty sure.
You're breaking up,
Like
by the
I,
way.
Me? Am I breaking up?
Yeah, I was driving through Montana on a
all
long,
right.
long road, and the peak of the mountain came up to the bottom of the mountain over an hour to 2 hours drive.
Look, hold on. There's a PDF you can look. You can look up the effect of Earth's curvature and refraction on the measuration of vertical photographs. It's a
I'm
whole
probably
PDF, and it'll go ahead and show you, like, even the. Or I'll link it. What?
You are breaking up a bit, Elijah.
Still?
Yeah, a little
No,
bit.
you're fine.
Here, I'll
You seem
link
fine.
this though, just so you can take a peek.
Is he coming in fine for you, Jedi? It's kind of like cutting in and out a bit.
You seemed really strong for me there, mate.
That's weird.
Like Mark has the profile picture of ray refraction. It's pretty funny.
So I drove down the road. I couldn't see the bottom of the mountain. Okay. What's the point?
What? You drove down the road?
Yeah, some guy said he drove down the road in Montana, and he saw a mountain for 2 hours, and he could see the top of it, and then he could see all of it, but he couldn't see the bottom of it. Is he still here?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here. What do you think that means?
What do we think that means? I don't know. You seem to have...
it proves curvature, yeah?
Well, what you would be claiming is physical obstruction. I can't see the bottom of that mountain because the curve of the Earth is in the way, right?
Well, that's one explanation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is plausible. You would expect not to be able to see the bottom of things if the surface of the Earth was curved. You are correct. But you do know you do know, for example, that on a known flat surface, things can appear to disappear from the bottom up if you are very low to that surface, right? Or did you not know that?
Oh, I do know that, but a big ass mountain with snow peaks.
Yeah, yeah. So something that is very far away but has a big angular size, and you want a car that is very low to the surface. So you can make things disappear from the bottom up on a known flat surface. This would just be the ratio.
Not a massive mountain, mate.
No, listen, no problem. Fucking hell. Comes in here, makes an assertion, wants to understand why, starts giving them an explanation why, and starts talking for it. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm wrong. It's all good.
No problem. Would you like me to give you an example?
Examples can be given from both sides. No matter what I say, you won't believe it. I just stated something. You want to believe it or not, I really don't care.
No, it's not a problem
The
because
dude's
I
like,
observed my friends. I observed the same phenomenon.
My balls say that I don't care what you believe. I don't believe. I believe.
My ball.
Here comes the right of Reverend Elijah. Well done, my friend.
Hold on, let me just say this. I think a reason why, I think I get it now. Like the reason why when it comes to flat Earth and the whole, you might have said this earlier, but maybe I just didn't get it. But like the whole reason why you get it out of like the whole dome argument is because you can't say that it's a dome. Because if you say it's a dome, there still is like a circular aspect to that. Right.
Who's claiming it's a dome?
It's unverifiable.
Well, but I'm saying you don't know, but
No,
it could
you
be
keep
that.
saying you. You keep asserting that someone on our side is saying it's a dome. No one's saying
Yeah, I think
that.
it's the guy who just spoke.
Someone on your side is saying it's a dome. It may not be you, but I've heard plenty of flat earthers.
I mean,
It's called
I'm one of you
controlled
guys.
op. It's called obfuscation.
It's not. But then what is it then? What do you
It's
believe
called
in?
straw
Good. I'm glad
manning,
that you're
bro.
being victimized. Yes.
What do you
Good.
what do you believe in
Sorry.
then? What is it that's
Sorry,
keeping
gentlemen.
that
Sorry.
atmosphere and like, huh?
Sometimes people like to make assertions. You know, I've got an idea. I think it's a dome. Now, in that sentence, I said, I think it's a speculation. Some people will speculate it is a dome. When we're
Right.
on, say, when we're being really critical, and most of us from 24/7 are really critical, we understand that we can't actually verify that claim. So people like to come up with lots of speculations, but this one will be unverifiable. Yeah,